Getting Suno to generate a true solo instrument is surprisingly difficult. In this video, I'm going to attempt to show a very effective workaround if you just want an instrument playing without any backing instruments or anything else. Most of the time, Suno immediately defaults to building a full song. It's going to add drums, bass, and pad, and it's going to add a whole lot of other stuff. And this happens when the prompt clearly says that you only want the one instrument, you don't want any vocals, you don't want any drums. Suno still tends to ignore this in the prompt, and then it builds a complete arrangement anyways. So now let's start with a quick example. I'm gonna give it a quick prompt to generate an organ performance, something similar to the classic Hammond B3. So the generated sound or output, instead of giving me a pure solo organ, Suno creates a full soul jazz track. It's got the full drums and everything. This sounds cool, it sounds funky, but it's not what I asked for. Let's try another example. This time around, I want a solo acoustic guitar playing in the style of an R&B ballad. Just the guitar, again, no drums, nothing else. At first, it actually starts correctly, but then as the song progresses, the drums come in. Once again, Suno falls back to its default full band behavior. So why is this happening? When you ask ChatGPT or any other AI models for an explanation, the answers usually come down to how these AI systems are trained. Suno is really just maybe using patterns from all its training data. So certain words in the prompts are going to carry a lot more weight than others. For example, if you use a genre keyword like R&B, the immediate reaction from Suno is going to be to push it towards what it believes is a very good R&B song. So it's pretty much like just following a stereotype. So even when you do actually say like solo instrument only, nothing else, those instructions in the prompt becomes less important. Because now the genre itself, R&B, carries a whole lot of weight. Another explanation is that solo performances naturally contain a lot of empty space, and in normal music production, those spaces would ordinarily be filled by other instruments. So now when AI sees this empty space or silence, it starts to think that this is a bug or an error, and then it tries to correct this error or bug by simply adding more instruments. So these explanations, they do make technical sense. They sound plausible and reasonable. But now, at the end of the day, an AI music generator should still understand the clear instructions. If a user explicitly says no drums, only the solo instrument, the AI should be able to follow this intent properly. Now, for some basic workarounds, you can improve the chances of getting the solo instrument to be generated. Obviously, the first trick is going to be to avoid some of those trigger keywords, especially the genre keywords. So you might try and avoid using keywords such as rock, pop, R&B. Those are immediately going to trigger the AI into having some kind of bias. So instead, the prompt itself entirely has to focus on the instrument itself. You can also reinforce the instrument inside of the lyrics field. For example, you can add a tag like instrumental, and then in the style field, at the start of the description of the style, you have to be repeating the word like solo. You have to try and repeat it as many times as possible. So now here's an example. The style field, it's re-emphasizing the solo guitar. It's re-emphasizes the solo performance. And then in the lyrics field, we've got the instrumental tag. If you add these little tricks, it's not 100% guarantee. Now, I mean, at this point, this becoming a bit of a mental gymnastics. If you're having to overthink all the time as a normal user, you are doing a lot of prompt engineering and you're experimenting with tags, you're rewriting descriptions. And honestly, this is where tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they become useful. So instead of you directly prompting Suno yourself, you can use these other AI models to generate a much more structured Suno prompt. That approach is going to be a lot more repeatable and a lot more reliable. One interesting thing to notice is that the newest Suno models, like maybe let's say 5.5, they are much better at following instructions, and you can actually also give them negative prompts. But now if you were to come to 4.5, 4.5 is one of my favorite models in that it generates better music. The only thing with 4.5 is that it doesn't follow prompts directly, and then some of the sound quality might not be good. But in terms of original compositions and original songs, 4.5 sometimes is much better than the later models. So overall, if you want Suno to generate a true solo track, you need to be very aware of the AI's default behavior. Right now, there isn't really a clean prompt. There isn't a very good way of reliably doing this. And it's basically just doing a whole lot of workarounds and gymnastics. So you're going to have to avoid generic keywords. You're going to have to reinforce the solo instructions. And you might actually be forced to use AI tools to just maybe generate those prompts. So for now, basically the best strategy is going to just be to use ChatGPT, Gemini to create a highly specific prompt that can be used in Suno.